Long ago, the whole world was in darkness. The skies above were in darkness, and the waters below were in darkness. Everything was in darkness, and men and women lived in the dark and cold. Well, Raven felt sad for them, so he said, "I will search for the light." So Raven began flying out, and he flew over mountains and over valleys and along rivers and over lakes, and everything was in darkness. But then he saw a little bit of light way off in the distance, and so he flew towards the light. And over on the edge of the water he saw a bit of light. And as he got closer, he saw it was a house that was shining. It was the lodge of the Sky Chief. So Raven flew up high and perched on a tall pine tree, and he watched the lodge. And out came a beautiful young girl to the edge of the water, and she was the Sky Chief's daughter. And she knelt down and she drank some water from a woven basket. And Raven, he changed into a little pine needle, and he fell down from the tree and floated along the water. And when the girl reached down and drank some more water, she swallowed the pine needle. After a time, she gave birth to a child. And this child was small and dark, with shiny black hair and little black eyes. Do you know who that child was? That's right, it was Raven. He had been reborn as a boy child. Well, Sky Chief loved his daughter's child, and he called him grandchild. And he would play with Raven child, and he would carve him little toys out of wood. And he invited all the elders to come and see this wonderful, curious little boy. And so all of the elders came, and they crowded into the Sky Chief's lodge with Sky Chief and his daughter. And they all stood around and watched the Raven child. And Raven child crawled along the floor, and he pretended to play. But all the while, he was looking for where the light was hidden. And in the corner of the lodge, he saw a big box. And this box was beautifully carved and painted with many colors, and it glowed. So Ravenchild said, "Gaga!" "What do you want?" said his mother. But he just said, "Gaga!" and he started to cry. "What does the child want?" said the elders. And he just said, "Gaga!" and he cried and cried. "He wants the box," said the Sky Chief. So the young woman went and she got the box, and she brought it in front of Ravenchild. And she lifted up the lid, and inside was a smaller box. And she lifted up the lid on that box, and inside was an even smaller box. But she lifted off the lid on that box, and light poured out. It flooded the whole room. Inside there was a small ball that was shining, and it was blazing with light. Do you know what that ball was? That's right, it was the sun. "Give the child the ball," said the Sky Chief. So she gave him the ball, and Ravenchild, he rolled it around on the floor, and he was just playing with it. Gaga! And then he changed into a bird. Ha ha! And he changed back into Raven. Caw! Caw! Well, Sky Chief and his daughter and all the elders, they just looked on in amazement. And Raven, he plucked up the sun in his beak, and he flew out the smoke hole in the lodge, up into the dark sky. And he flew over mountains and over valleys, and he flew along rivers and across lakes, and he threw the sun high up into the sky, and it stayed there. And that is how Raven stole the sun and gave it to all of us. So, do you know why people always feed Raven whenever they see him? That's to thank him for bringing us all the light.